So, what we're looking at is a problem that's analyzing this graph. So it's saying that the graph of a function is given, so this graph. So this is a 6-part question. So the first question is, state the value of f of 1. So basically what's happening when we're looking for a value of f of 1, we're looking at what the y value is when the x is equal to 1. So the x-axis is the horizontal one, so we go 1 over from the origin, and then up 1, 2, 3. So we see that f of 1 is actually equal to 3, so that's what our answer is. So now for part B, it's saying estimate the value of f of negative 1. So we're doing the same thing, except we're about estimating. So f of negative 1 is right here. So we can see that the y value is about negative 1/2. Not quite, but it's there. So that would be our answer. So we have f of negative 1 is equal to negative 1/2. So now it's saying for what values of x is f of x equal to 1. So we're doing the reverse. So we're saying that when the y values are equal to 1, what are the x values? So you can see that if you draw a dotted line across here, which is y equals 1, you can see that the graph touches twice. So what we want to say is what the x values are when the graph touches y equals 1. So we can see that y equals 1 when x equals 0, and y equals 1 when x equals 3. So that's our answer. It would be f of 0 and f of 3. So now for the next part, it wants us to estimate the values of x such that f of x is equal to 0. So we're doing the same thing. So we're trying to find when y equals 0, what does x equal? So we can see that y equals 0, it crosses the x-axis right here, somewhere between 0 and negative 1. So we can say that it's about negative 1/2. So what we can say is f of negative 1/2 is about equal to 0. So this is where that statement comes from. So the next part is saying for us to state the domain and range of f. So the domain is where the x values lie in between. What interval are the x values continuous? So you can see that the graph starts at negative 2 and ends at the value of 4. And those are our x values. So we can say that our domain is from negative 2 to 4. And we use the square brackets because negative 2 and 4 are both included in our graph. So now the range is the same idea, except we're looking at y values. So we can see that the lowest y value possible is negative 1. So that's going to be our bottom value for the range. And we can see that our greatest y value is actually 3. So that's going to be the top value for our range. So we can say that our range goes from negative 1 to 3. And we have the square brackets because negative 1 and 3 are included in our interval once again. The reason why we don't have parentheses, we would have parentheses if these values were not included in our domain or range, but they are, so we have brackets. So now, for our final question, it wants us to say, at what interval is f increasing? So basically, the graph is increasing when you're going this direction. So we can see that the graph is increasing from negative 2, the start of the graph, up to positive 1. Once it reaches positive 1, though, you can see that the graph starts decreasing, just like a slide. So we can say that the intervals of which the graph is increasing is from negative 2 to 1. And we have the square brackets because, once again, these values are included in our interval.